Hey, here we are back again. We have a wonderful guest that we've had once before, and you enjoyed him then, and I know you're going to enjoy him now. Hans Berger, welcome back.
Thank you, Carol.
It's really good to have you.
Good to be here.
Everything's going good with you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Good.
Can't complain.
Good. What are we going to promote this morning?
Okay, it's a pleasure to be able to tell your viewers about my story. And it's a kind of a heavy story, and the reason I wrote the book about 3 years ago is, well, I tell people about how we survived the Nazis and the Soviets, the Russians, World War II. So it's a little heavy, okay?
Yeah.
But people have to know what happened, because if you don't recall or know what happened in the past, we're going to repeat it.
That's for sure. We're close.
And my book is called A Bridge to Cross. It was published 3 years ago. It's doing very well. People are excited about, I'm excited about being able to share it. We lived in Heidelberg, Germany. You know, Hitler came into power in 1933. Germany was the Weimar Republic. It was in bad shape. There was high unemployment, high crime rate. Things were not, high inflation. Things were not good. So that gave Hitler, who was, by the way, Austrian, a chance to get into the government, and promising people butter on the table, employment, low crime rate, infrastructure improvements. He did all those things, but he had alternative motive, okay? By the time people woke up, there went freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. It all went away, okay? And my mother was totally against that. Ever heard of Heidelberg, Germany? Everybody has.
Yeah.
It's almost as famous as Fresno.
My husband knows all his history.
So we lived in a nice, beautiful place with the castles on the hill, a river going through town. Everything was cool. My dad worked at the hospital as a pathologist. He treated German and British, American soldiers who were injured, so they didn't bother him any. But my mother spoke out against Hitler, and they accused her of listening to BBC. It's an enemy, considered enemy station, British broadcasting. That's how you found out the truth, because under Hitler, he controlled the press. There was a bunch of lies, okay? If you were caught listening to BBC or any other station, foreign station, that meant death, okay? They either shot you or a concentration camp. And I think my mother never told me, but I think she was caught, and she spoke out against Hitler, and things went downhill very, very quickly. One evening, she was interrogated by the Nazis. They took her in. It was very bad. A couple of times she was injured. When she came back to us kids, I was 3 kids. I was only 2 years old. My sisters were 4, 7, and 9, 4 of us kids. And she was pale as white as a sheet. So things were very bad. And then from things went downhill real fast. They closed we couldn't buy bread, butter, forget about the butter, milk, and the basic necessities.
Yeah.
It was close to us. They would not take our money.
Yeah, that's horrible.
They closed the registers. So one evening, they took us and away from our nice apartment and sent us across town to an abandoned slaughterhouse for undesirable people. And so that's how it went.
So this is all in this book.
It's all in the book.
The whole story, what happened to you there, and everything. Well, that is fantastic.
And,
Let me hold this up again. Look, now wait a minute. Is that your mother?
That's my mother right here. She was as tough as nails. She stood up to the Nazis, but we lost. She stood up to the Russians. She was not afraid of anything. She'd be the one standing in front of a Russian tank and not move.
Good Lord, isn't that amazing? Wow.
And after the slaughterhouse, one evening, a friend of hers came to our house, to our place where we were temporarily, and told the Nazis, the Gestapo. You know who those people were? The Gestapo. They were the guys that were going to put you away.
Yeah.
They're coming to get us, so my dad took us to the train station. I mean, before we got in, the Nazis were following us at the same time. A thick fog cloud came between us and the Nazis, so they didn't see us. And we got on a train in the middle of the night. My dad said goodbye. He figured he'd never see us again. We clung onto him for dear life, but he had to leave. It was very, very emotional. I know how he made it because he figured he'd lose his wife and us 4 kids. We'd never see him again. Went to see her dad and finding out he was a Nazi. My mom did not know. Then he threatened her to turn her over to the Gestapo, and so we had to leave there. Went further east to the Polish border where mother grew up in East Prussia, and then the Russians came across the border by the hundreds of thousands of troops. So we caught in this tidal wave of murder, destruction. It was very bad, okay? But God took care of us. We were that way for a year and a half.
Don't give the whole story away now. They got.
Oh, there's a lot more. There's a lot more in here.
Okay, well, that's what they're going to have to read. Where do they get this?
A lot of
book?
miracles. The book barn is one place in Clovis. Barnes and Noble. Online, you get it, of course, Amazon, Smashwords. It's all over the internet retailers. It's all over the place.
That's fantastic. I'm so glad that you just came in and gave me some of that story
It's a
about
pleasure.
you. What a heroine she was.
Oh, that woman? Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, come in again.
All right,
Talk
thank
about
you,
it
Carole.
again, because I want people to get out there and
All
read
right.
read about that. So many young
Fantastic.
people have no idea
No.
what happened.
It was
Okay.
quite a story, yeah.
Okay, thank you
Thank you so much,
Hans.
Carole.
We'll be right back.